Hello, welcome to the Happy Families podcast. What if there was a way that you could actually make sure that your kids ate their lunch? What if there was a way that the calories that our children need so that their brains and bodies work well could actually get inside them rather than sitting in the lunchbox uneaten and being brought home at the end of the day so that you can get cranky about it the next day because food costs a lot and the kids need energy and they're not getting it. What is going on with kids and school lunches? Today is not your usual, let's talk to a dietitian about how to get kids to eat. Instead, today is a conversation about structural changes that could and should very easily happen in a school context to help kids to grow and thrive, get the calories they need, play, eat, survive, learn, grow, and so much more. All of that coming up next on the Happy Families podcast. Stay with us. Hello and welcome to the Happy Families podcast where you get real parenting solutions every single day. This is Australia's most downloaded parenting podcast. We are Justin and Kylie Coulson, the parents of 6 kids who, let's face it, Kylie, brought home way too much food in their lunchboxes. How many thousands of dollars worth of food do you think went to school and came back uneaten and ended up in the bin over the last however many years we've been sending kids to school?
I actually don't think most of it came home. I think it ended
just
up in a rubbish bin.
School rubbish bins because they don't want to get in trouble when they bring it home.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. We want to give you some real parenting solutions here, although this one is probably a little bit more structural. Nevertheless, it's something to bring up at your school P&C. It's something to bring up with your school principal. They'll love you for it. School principals love it when you approach them unsolicited and give them advice. Let's step into this one. This caught my attention a couple of weeks ago on an ABC News page from early March. The ABC report the following: when the bell rings for lunch at the Entrance Public School on the New South Wales Central Coast, students leave their lunchboxes behind and head outside. 30 minutes of structured playtime comes before eating. Teachers engage with the students in activities like soccer, dance, handball and climbing. As a result, students are able to get their energy out before they're expected to sit still and eat. Kylie, just before I bring you in on this, Principal Dave Stitt says this: coming off the playground, you had all this angst and it was coming into the classroom. Things are significantly calmer now. It's changed the culture of what happens in the playground.
I love this. Where was this when all of our kids were in primary school?
This is not a hard structural change.
It really isn't, but it makes so much sense. I am going
to highlight, we did talk to teachers about the possibility of this happening, and it was always just too hard. It was always too hard.
When we understand transitions, it makes complete sense that our kids have gone from this unruly space of the playground, and then we're asking them to come back into class hot, sweaty and agitated, and probably still don't have a lot of their wiggles out because it's never long enough, and then they're going to have to learn again.
Right. And they usually haven't eaten enough food, which means that their brains and bodies are depleted from a calorie point of view, which just makes the job so much harder.
Well, there's 3 things. There's the wasted food that so many families are navigating, but there's also the child that goes hungry because they just want to play. They're not motivated to eat. They just want to hang out with their friends. But then there's the other child who actually does want to eat their lunch, and then they get left out because they're not part of it, because they're actually more invested in eating.
So there's a variety of different ways that this can be approached. We never came up with this exact idea, but we had multiple conversations with school teachers through the years where we said, is there any way at all that the school can implement something where the school bell rings and the first 5 minutes or the first 10 minutes is allocated to eating time? And once the eating time is done, then the kids go and have their lunch. And it was always too hard. We would beg teachers to please just check that our daughter had eaten their lunch. And fair enough to teachers as well. They're kind of going, well, we've got some other stuff to go and do, and we would like to have our own lunch. And how much do we have to police in terms of kids? Developmentally, young kids just don't really do it, though. And what they've done here at the Entrance Public School on the New South Wales Central Coast is just a gentle tweak on that. Let's let the bell go and let the kids get outside. Let them go crazy. Let them have fun. But then there's going to be another bell. So we've got 10 minutes. Everyone can sit down, eat. You've had your wiggles. You've had your fun. We can de-escalate. We can regulate. I mean, it's fantastic.
I think you're missing a key point to the structure that they've got. They're not letting the kids just go off and play, because so often
there's a lot of structure
in unstructured activity is where kids really struggle to navigate things. But having adults It's not even a supervision thing. The adults are getting involved in the activities that the kids are participating in, which helps them navigate their world. Like it's kind of feels like school for dummies. Like, this is not hard. It's really not hard.
They've got quantifiable results from this. Let me share a couple of the results. So the change was introduced in 2019. By 2024, there was a 71% reduction in behavioural incidents in the playground. That's a big drop. Additionally, the entrance public school is below average on the index of community socio-educational advantage, which means basically there's some socioeconomic challenges in the community, and therefore the expectations around school and education are different to higher socioeconomic communities. And what the school principal reported was that NAPLAN scores from last year show Year 3 and Year 5 students performing either above or well above when compared to students with a similar background. Oh, and there's a whole lot of parents in the article who are saying, we really like it because the kids are eating the food that we prepared for them, and in a cost of living crisis, it makes a difference. So we will link to that article in the show notes. After the break, though, Kylie, we need to talk about what this means in practical terms for parents and what we can do to help our kids to get what they need while they're at school if your school isn't doing this kind of thing, especially with your primary school age children. Stay with us. We're back. This is the Happy Families podcast. Thank you so much for choosing to spend your time with us. Kylie, a couple of things that we need to talk about here with this really simple initiative at the entrance public school.
I don't think we can ever underestimate the power of nutrition with our kids, the way that impacts their learning, their behaviour,
their emotion regulation.
It's just, it affects everything.
How often do we say to our kids, have you eaten? Because they're losing it. We're like, get some calories into you, maybe a bit of protein, get something into you. And then all of a sudden, they're nice again. They become nice people once they've got some food in their systems. They can regulate so much better.
And so when I think about what this school is doing and how they've just, with a simple tweak, have seen such a massive improvement in their kids, you kind of become a believer that food makes all the difference.
There's actually a bit of data around here. Schools that have adopted play-first models report that students eat more fruits and vegetables, drink more milk, waste less food, and are better behaved on the playground and in the classroom. This is not the first school on the planet to ever do something like this. And when there have been interventions along these lines, here's what's really going on here. We feed kids by the clock, not by their appetite. And by shifting things around the way they've done on the entrance public school, what they've basically said is you as a child are much more likely to have an appetite once, yes, you've done some learning, but once you've also moved your body. Once you've moved your body, you're going to want to sit down and actually get some food into you.
But not only that, the brilliance of this is they are utilising eating time, which is generally a much more sedate activity than playing in the playground, as a transition point to going back into the calmer learning space of a classroom. Like it's
better regulation.
Such a simple tweak, and yet it makes all the sense.
Yeah. So the second, I think, big take home for me is this: the last 10 minutes of playtime is when things usually go wrong. The kids are tired. They're wound up. They haven't eaten properly.
They also know that their playtime is coming to an end.
That's right. And the anxiety goes up and they're like, oh, we've only got 3 more minutes. And that's when things start
We just need another goal.
Yeah, that's right. I just want one more turn. I can't believe I got out. The line's too long. And so when kids can play first and eat second, they're going to come back inside. They're going to be naturally calmer. And the eating period, as you said just before, Kylie, functions as like this de-escalation period for them. I just like it. So if my kids were in school, if our kids were in school and I heard about this, I'd actually jump online and shoot an email through to the P&C and say, hey guys, read this. Definitely dealing with some challenges at school with our kids, wondering whether or not this is something to float and bring up in an executive or leadership meeting as an idea that could be trialed. We are not the only parents, you and I, to have gone through what we've been through over the last 20 years with kids not eating lunch, being completely depleted and exhausted by the end of the day. And while our meagre efforts were completely unsuccessful, my sense is that something like this wouldn't be too hard to implement in any school, wouldn't require an enormous restructure. And ideally, fingers crossed, hopefully wouldn't add too much burden, if any burden at all, on teachers who are already going to be on playground duty anyway. So maybe it's something for you to bring up with the P&C or the P&F at your local school. If you do, we'd love to hear about it. Let us know. I might also add that the school principal at the Entrance Public School in the article at abc.net.au did indicate that a lot of schools had been in touch saying, how'd you do it? What worked? What didn't? How can we implement it in our school? It seems like a lot of people are suddenly going, as you've just said earlier, Kylie, calories matter. Calories matter so that our children can learn and regulate well. Anyway, we thought we would bring that to you because it just feels like it's a smart idea that we can't believe we didn't think of before, and hopefully it'll spark something in your school community to help your kids to do better. The Happy Families podcast is produced by Justin Rulon from Bridge Media. Mim Hammonds provides our additional support. If you would like more info to make your family happier, visit happyfamilies.com.au.